There's some really alarming new reporting on what has unfortunately become a dangerous feature of our current state of politics, the threat of violence looming over every aspect of the justice system and process. That is thanks to, and largely because of, threats of revenge from the ex-president and his allies. Exclusive reporting from NBC News reveals this, quote, prosecutors and FBI agents involved in the Hunter Biden investigation have been the targets of threats and harassment by people who think they haven't been tough enough on the president's son. Where would they get that idea? Watch this.
It appears that the lawyers from Joe Biden's DOJ and Hunter's legal team were in cahoots.
I think the FBI's been running interference for the Bidens, for the Democrats, for years and years.
The political bias that is so just run rampant in the 7th floor of the FBI building, then they could be sweeping this under the rug.
How can you not believe that there's a two-tier justice system?
The people running the department were picked by Joe Biden, so they're doing his bidding, happily so.
Happens every night. Sorry we had to show you that, but it ties now to a real threat of violence. The situation facing law enforcement officials has reportedly become so grave that NBC News can report this, quote, the threats have prompted the FBI to create a standalone unit to investigate and mitigate them. It is all part of a wider trend impacting anyone accused by Trump and his allies in the media and otherwise of being part of the deep state conspiracy to corrupt the justice system. NBC News reports, quote, threats to FBI agents and facilities have more than doubled. There were more in the 6 months from October to March than the previous 12 months. Officials say the pace of threats increased after the FBI investigations of Trump became public last summer, and that pace has not slowed since then. At times, the lives of FBI agents have been put in very real danger. From NBC again, quote, a source familiar with the matter said some FBI personnel have been victims of swatting, in which someone calls in a false report that leads to armed police rushing to a home. Joining our conversation, former FBI counterintelligence agent Pete Strzok and former acting assistant attorney general for national security at the U.S. Department of Justice, Mary McCord. Pete, I imagine this hits you in the gut and the brain, thinking about how to protect and strategize. But deal me your gut reaction first.
Well, Nicole, I think this is predictable, and it's been brewing for some time. And, it's terrible to see. I think, going back into the Trump administration, there are many of us who were the subject of these threats, and now it's been growing and growing. And what I'm really interested in, we see this information coming out of the Justice Department, presumably to NBC reporters. But I have a simple question. Of all these threats, and this new entire unit that, according to Director Wray in his testimony to Congress, the FBI had to set up, of all of these threats, how many are coming from anyone associated with left-wing causes? Compare that to how many of them are coming from those on the right, and whether it's, as you indicated, people upset that the FBI isn't investigating Hunter Biden enough, or they're upset that Donald Trump is being prosecuted, or they're upset that any number of people around Donald Trump are the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers and so on, they're upset about that. Let's look at the ledger, and let's be brave enough to take a stand and say, where are these threats coming from? Because my suspicion is if we look at that data, it is overwhelmingly going to be coming from the right, and as a result of all the things that you just played in those clips. And we need to start putting a name to that. It is horrible enough that agents and prosecutors and judges are worried about their physical safety. It is worrisome enough that Senator Romney claims, I guess, that he's paying $5,000 a month for security for his family. But let's look at these threats and actually put a name to them and where they're coming from, because I think there's more to it, and I think the data is there, and I'd really like to be able to say specifically, where is this coming from, so we can attack those things head on and have them stop, because this is simply unacceptable.
Well, Mary, the last sworn testimony from Christopher Wray puts them clearly on the right side of the ideological spectrum, and the known brutality, political violence cases are against Paul Pelosi, from someone who adhered to the election lies repeated by Donald Trump. The 3 shootings in New Mexico are also from a big lie adherent. We have the data that is public facing all suggests that they're all on the right.
Yeah, it's true. And what I think is, this illustrates sort of a gap in our laws, because, of course, if you identify the person making the threat or engaging in the actual act of violence, like the attack on Paul Pelosi, of course, that person has been apprehended. You can prosecute that person. But as you've indicated, these are people who are motivated by others who are lying about things, right? Others who are stoking up and inciting violence. And by and large, those others go scot-free. And we lack not only sort of criminal mechanisms for holding people accountable who are really responsible for providing the narrative that the false narrative, that those who will then act on that narrative through threats and through actual violence. We lack sort of the right criminal tools to be able to hold those people accountable. And we also in many ways lack the right civil tools. Now, we've seen things like defamation be used very successfully in a few cases. I mean, ongoing, some of those cases are ongoing, but of course, Rudy Giuliani's defamation of Ruby Freeman and Shaye Moss, the election workers in Georgia, that is now, going to be resolving with large, I think, financial penalties assessed against Mr. Giuliani. But there's limits to what defamation can do, too. And you have to have sort of a named person you are defaming. When you just broadly say that the Department of Justice is weaponized and the FBI is weaponized and they're corrupt, that's not going to be specific enough to use some of these tools. And so, but what we're seeing is this is just proliferating and spreading. And, we've had election workers like Ruby Freeman and Shaye Moss who've been threatened and harassed, and so many others, including many, many Republican election officials, Republican Board of Supervisors members, Maricopa County. Think about Maricopa County, Arizona. Many of those people are now deciding they can't run again because they've been so threatened and harassed. We've had, teachers harassed. We've had school board members, county board members. Now we have the FBI and the Department of Justice and prosecutors at the federal level and the local level, including prosecutors who are prosecuting Hunter Biden, right? So it just keeps spreading. And I think we do have to, Congress, I feel silly saying Congress needs to take a hard look at this, because obviously a lot of this is coming from people in Congress. But we have gaps here, and we really have to start to reconcile that.